Last time on You Roll the One.
So the heist is this evening, and we already did all the setup tasks that Rona assigned us.
So what have we got? We've got the uniforms, we've got the pack and slip, we've got the key cards. What else do we need?
Explosives.
Explosives for all this, of course.
I'm going to go fetch me some supplies.
The place you tend to like to go is a place called Ye Old Demon.
Now, let's go up to the demonry.
And the guy who runs it is a Vasherin, which is a crow person.
What's his name?
And the name is Tinker.
Tinker, my friend, buddy.
Aldous, how have you been?
I need to replace some oil in a lamp of mine.
So, how big a lamp are you looking for, Mr. Aldous?
Think about like a warehouse size. Like if I wanted to light up a warehouse with one singular lamp, how much oil would I need?
Something of that size, you probably want something from our special collection of oil. He grabs the top of it and lifts it off, and you see a bright pink liquid all on the inside of it, almost Pepto-Bismol-y in its color and texture.
Something a little smaller, perhaps.
This thing will explode almost the same level of explosion as the other one, much more compact. But this one costs a little bit more. I could let it go for as little as 150 gold for you.
Well, I only have 33 gold.
You know the Uneven Night? Maybe I could part with one of these for a lot cheaper or free if you were to mess with the Uneven Night's oil supply.
Give us the pink one and the swirly one.
Deal. You know that there's a place not too far away that is a bar known as the Red Tankard. The Red Tankard, there's a human man. It looked like at first he was just standing there, but in fact it looks like he's actually bound with manacles. It basically has a marking on the front of his robe, and you can see that it's actually signed the Uneven Night.
Should we go ask him what's up?
We only have a couple of minutes. The guard inside has me in a bad rap. How about this? If you break me out of this, before that guard comes back out, I will take you back to my shop and give you whatever oil it is you need to explode as big a room or house as you need. How does that sound?
There it is. I think that's what we were looking for.
As I said, someone should go in there and distract him.
Don't worry, boys. I'm all over this.
You all see Mitzi wander up the stairs to the Red Tankard and go through the saloon doors into it and disappear inside. And after a few moments, the guy looks at you guys and says, "Are you going to help me or no?"
Perhaps.
Sneakage will do it.
I don't want to get my fingers dirty.
So what are you doing, Sneakage?
Sneakage doesn't want to do it.
What are you doing or not doing, Sneakage? You need to give me some clarity here.
That's so confusing.
I'm going to take the manacles and just unlock them.
So, Sneakage, you go into the lock. You see it's a typical manacles. You don't feel it's very difficult to be able to pick. Yeah, roll to pick the lock, essentially. And it'll be a DC 13 to pick these manacles.
14.
As the manacle comes off his wrist, he immediately starts to bolt and turns a corner down an alleyway to the right of the restaurant that you're all in front of. What are you guys going to do?
I'm going to chase him.
All right, Sneakage, you start running after him. Aldous and Seaweed, you see Sneakage immediately start running after him, about 10 feet or 15 feet or so behind the guy who started bolting.
I mean, he's pretty well got it taken care of, right?
We better follow him, though.
I wasn't planning on running anywhere today, all right.
Sir, you missed it. You forgot your other manacle. I got to get your other manacle.
So, Sneakage, you run down the alleyway, and Aldous and Seaweed.
I'm running after him.
Yeah, I guess we're making chase, ain't we?
All right, so you guys are about 30 feet behind him. As you guys turn the alleyway, you see Sneakage dashing after him, and the guy ahead of him about 10 or 15 feet again. But at the end of this alleyway is just a completely flat brick wall of another building where the guy can either turn left or right, and you see as he gets up to the end, the guy immediately turns left. You're not sure necessarily where he is, but Sneakage, make a perception roll.
19.
He turns around left. You kind of like get around the corner fast enough to see that the guy takes an immediate right on the first alleyway that he encounters, and it's just around the corner. So what are you gonna do? Continue on or wait for your friends?
I'm gonna still chase him. Mister, I have to talk to you. You gotta get your other manacle.
And let's jump over to Mitzi for a second. So Mitzi, you are outside and you've just distracted this guy so that basically these guys could get away and get a little bit of a lead. But you see him start running down the alleyway, calling after some people now that you're outside. And what do you do?
So I'm gonna tail him, but keep enough distance that he doesn't really notice that I'm following him, because he'll probably get suspicious, but I'm trying to be stealthy.
Yeah, you're going to need to move as quickly as you can to keep up with him, because he's moving fairly quickly. Even though he's in plate mail, he looks like he's a really strong bird, and doesn't seem to. He's moving surprisingly fast for a guy who's in a lot of armor. But you start trailing him down the alleyway as well. So you start running, and you see that the alleyway again it ends at a T section. So let's jump back up to Sneakage.
I'm gonna try and throw a knife, like one of my daggers, at him while chasing him.
So you see which way he's going, and you stare, and you see he's going down this thing. What's the range you can throw a dagger?
20 feet.
You can try, but you get disadvantage on this, okay?
14 on the first one, and 15 on the second one, so 14 for total. And then plus 5 on that, so 19 total.
Yeah, in a really miraculously lucky hit, you kind of clip him on the side of the leg. Roll for damage.
2.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it slows him down tremendously, but he does grab at his leg, and your dagger pounds onto the pavement. But as he's running down the alley, he throws a bunch of garbage pails in front of you. Roll an acrobatics check to jump over the garbage and try and not be hit by the garbage cans.
17.
Yeah, you easily kind of like run up over the side of the wall and sort of do a quick doom like that, and dive over top of the garbage and garbage cans that he basically threw in front of you. And you see him turn right. And it's about to open up into a street where carts are driving back and forth. I'm going to go over to Aldous and Seaweed as you guys are running up there as well, trying to keep pace with Sneakage. Yeah, you see the garbage as well. So you guys can, if you at pace, got to either dive over top of it or you can slow down and walk around it. What do you guys want to do?
You take the slow route, old man. Don't you worry. I'll catch up with them. And I'm gonna do an acrobatics. Da 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 da, cause I got a +5. Da 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 da. That's a 23.
Yeah, if you run and basically easily jump over top of these piles of cans and garbage that got thrown out and are kind of rolling around on the alley floor. And Aldous, you see Seaweed jump right over top of this stuff deftly and quickly.
Hey, Sneakage!
What do you do?
Oh, to be young again. What do I roll? Because do I roll acrobatics? I could.
You have I said you have a choice. You can try to make an acrobatics check to run over this stuff, or you can slow down and walk around it.
I'll slow down and walk around it.
All right, so you slow down, and as you do, you see the paladin starts running up behind you. He kind of does this thing where he kind of grabs his holy symbol like this, and then yells out at you, "Get on the ground!" And you make a wisdom saving throw.
I rolled a 3, so 5 total.
You immediately feel the need to collapse on the ground and put your hands behind your head. And you do that. And as you do that, the paladin runs by you, chasing in hot pursuit. And he easily and deftly basically kicks the cans out of the way as he's running in his plate mail like a tank. Actually, you know what? As he runs by you, yeah, he takes a little swing at you with the sword, but like the blunt edge of his sword. What is your AC?
12.
12? Oh, you only have 12 AC? Yeah. All right, then. Yeah, you take 3 damage, but it's basically like you just feel like someone hit you in the face with the side of his sword. It hurts, and you feel a little bit dazed. Mitzi, you're running down the alleyway. You see the paladin make an immediate left, and then as you chase after him, make a perception check.
Sure. Oh, that's a 7.
7. You look around and you don't know where exactly he went. You can see he went left, but it looks like he disappeared somewhere.
Can I follow my nose?
Well, that would be like your perception, and you failed that. So now it's
did.
covered
Yeah,
in
no,
garbage
right.
right now. Well, here, how about I do this? Because I'm going to say you basically stop, not sure where to go. We're going to jump ahead again to the next round.
And then I can just
we'll
do
come
another
back to you.
perception checks?
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see what happens next round.
Okay, sure.
Let's jump up to Sneakitch. He runs out into the street where there's like people walking and there's also carts going across, and this guy runs across in front of a cart, and you're trying to gain on him because he's slowed down a little bit. You have a choice. Do you want to go over the cart or under the cart? Or stop?
Over the cart.
All right, so use a acrobatics or dex check, which is better for you.
Dex check is better.
Okay, so DC 15.
So 16 total.
So you hit it. You barely do it, but basically you jump and vault yourself onto the cart and then run across the top of it. You feel something soft covered by burlap sack that you step on. It almost makes you lose your balance, but you jump off the top of the cart, and you're not quite close enough to be able to catch up to him from that, but you haven't lost any ground on him from the ground that you had before.
Mister, you're still missing your manacle. Come back.
Roll a persuasion check. Let's see how well that goes.
Does anyone actually trust this little sneakage rat?
So that's a 12.
I'm gonna say a disadvantage because you're also like a rat.
A rat and a brat.
Not that articulate, you know. That's I'm gonna say it's a disadvantage.
So 12, yeah, second one was 19, so 12 was the standing one.
All you see is a bunch of people kind of just start staring at you and point fingers at the rat, and nobody's really even paying attention to the guy as he runs around. They just see you because you're much more interesting than the guy who's running away. Now let's go over to Aldous and Seaweed. Seaweed, you are up next essentially because you're kind of chasing after him and you jumped deftly over top. You see now Sneakage has run down to the end of the alleyway and dove over top of this cart, and you can run down there as well. And essentially you can dive over the cart, or you can go under it, or you could like take some time to go around it.
Can I do... Is the paladin chasing after me? Is the paladin behind me?
As you kind of do a quick glance over your shoulder, you do see a paladin running at full speed after you. But he's not quite in range, but he's running quickly. And you don't see Aldous anymore.
So I'm going to use my Step of the Wind. So I'm going to spend a key point, and it doubles my movement speed, because it gives me a dash action on my turn. And my jump distance is doubled, so I'm gonna jump over the cart also.
So you do like a little power move. Or I don't know. Describe how you want to do this as your character, I guess.
I think you just start seeing me. My training kicks in, you know. It's like all my training in the dojo, and I just start staring ahead, and my arms are like pumping through the air, and I start barreling forward and like looking straight ahead and just get really focused and start going and getting ready to jump over this cart like I'm in the freaking Matrix.
All right, so roll DC 15, but because does this give you like an increased jump, right?
Yeah, it doubles my jump.
Okay, so I'll give you an advantage on this.
And that's acrobatics?
Acrobatics or dex, whichever is better for you.
Ooh. Okay, so I got a 17. Oh, yeah, DC 15. Woo!
Yeah, so you just basically hustle, and as you see the paladin behind you, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna actually have to run now. Damn it. And you just really pick it up with your training and just dive easily and deftly over top of this cart. And you see Sneakage on the other side, who is just like pointing aimlessly at this guy, and everybody's staring at him, and you dash past him.
It's all instinct, baby, all instinct.
Let's go over to Aldous.
Hello. Well, that paladin made me get on the ground.
Yeah, it'll take you a full round to just. It'll take you like a movement action to get back up off the ground to essentially do that. But if you, what do you want to do?
Aldous slowly picks himself up and doesn't seem all that interested in this entire endeavor, but is following his squad mates.
You start stumbling and walking at a leisurely pace down the rest of the way. You see the alleyway opens up to the street where there's a cart that seems to be parked, and you see the paladin running ahead of you, basically ready to do something. So let me go over to the paladin and just see what happens with him. As he reaches the cart, it looks like he has to slow down a little bit and like run around the cart. So he takes the rest of his action because he can't jump over it in his plate mail or go under it easily. So he basically just spends the time to go around the whole cart. And Mitzi, let's go back to you. So you're trying to figure out which way to go.
Sure.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
11.
As you walk to the first right to kind of look where it is, that's the first alleyway, you see Aldous just casually walking down the end of this alleyway towards where there's a cart that seems parked out the front. He doesn't look pleased, and he looks to be not rushing at all.
Aldous, what's going on? Where's Seaweed and the other one?
No, they ran up ahead. There's a cart. I'm just catching my breath. Careful though, there's a paladin.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to distract him for you guys. Did you manage to...
What are you doing here? Keep running. Come talk to me. This is a high-speed chase, after all.
All right, then.
This dialogue must take, forever, really.
Gee, you're really in a good mood today. And then she runs after the other two.
As you move out to the side, you do see a paladin running around the outside of the cart. And I'm going to start with the guy who you're chasing. If we go back up to Sneakage and Seaweed, you both see him dash down an alleyway on the other side of the street and start running that way.
How last you him? How many feet away is he?
He's dashed down the alley. You can't see him, but you can run to the alley and then try and see if you can see him.
Okay, I'll just keep following.
You see at the end, really at the middle of this alley, the alley is boarded up, and there's a large door in it, and he basically pushes through the door quickly, then slams the door behind him, and now you can't see him. So as you run up to the door, Sneakage and Seaweed, make perception checks.
Got it. That's a hefty 10.
And Sneakage?
13.
So Sneakage, you see to the right that there is a trash can that you think if you got enough leverage off that, you could just hop right over the top of this wooden door plank thing that's basically blocking the alleyway. So roll a acrobatics check, DC 16, to see if you can do it.
23.
So, Seaweed, you see Sneakage dash up to this trash can on the right-hand side of the door, and he just dashes and jumps off the top of that trash can and basically rolls his way over top of the wooden door, and he disappears behind it. You can try and do the same now that he's kind of guided you that that's probably possible.
Yeah, so I ain't slowing down. Oh, man, that's natural one, ain't it? That's a natural one I just unrolled.
You rolled a 1, you bonehead.
I rolled a 1. Do we do something for that? I can't remember.
Do a shot.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
Do a shot.
Oh, but we don't have like a special catchphrase. It's just you rolled a 1, I guess.
You rolled a 1, and you dash, and you try to leap as well, but the trash can seems to be unstable after Sneakage tried to get over top, and you immediately fall on your face and slam down behind you. You're now prone and actually need to spend all your momentum is gone.
God.
Yeah.
I got the dang wind knocked out of me. Oh no, step of the wind gone.
So now, Mitzi, actually, hold on. Let me get the paladin here. So the paladin is running up there, and he sees you on the ground as well, Seaweed, and sees the door that has been slammed shut. He, again, grips his holy symbol and then yells at you, stay on the ground! And you need to make a wisdom saving throw.
Do I have to be looking at the thing to be affected by it?
No. You just need to hear his command.
That's gonna be a 10.
So you immediately feel the urge to basically put your hands behind your head and lie on the ground. And as you do that, the paladin runs through and just... Oh yeah, he just basically bashes the entire door with his shield, and the whole door splinters apart into a bunch of pieces, and he piles right through it. And you see him dash down the rest of the alleyway after both Sneakage and the guy.
So this is the big zombie from Resident Evil.
I don't know. Maybe.
What?
I never played Resident
Who's
Evil.
the big zombie?
You know the big zombie that's like, it's gonna give it to you. Gonna give it.
I don't recall.
Nemesis?
It's like a big meme where he's like, you're like in a library and like running up the stairs, and he's like, bonk, bonk, bonk. I think he's like a gray fedora or something. He's like a huge zombie.
I've never heard of this.
The listeners at home are laughing and laughing.
This guy is fully alive and a paladin and not undead.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what...
Sorry, I got that song stuck in my head now.
You see him run by you with no problems, basically smash right through the door and continue on chasing after them. Mitzi, you see the paladin dash down a alleyway across the street. What are you doing?
Finally! I found him! So wait, what's happening?
You see him dash down an alleyway, and you don't know because you're not there. So you can either follow him or wait for Aldous or do something else.
Okay, I'm gonna follow him. Fuck all this.
You run up to the alleyway, and you look down the alleyway, and you see Seaweed lying on the ground and starts to put his hands above his head like he's basically been incapacitated, and you see the paladin basically run right past him and just smash his shield through the door and run down the rest of the alleyway, dashing after what you think might be Sneakage and possibly the other guy further down at the end of the alleyway. So what do you do?
I guess I'll run up to Seaweed and just say, "Are you okay? Did he hurt you? What's happening?"
Am I still like hypnotized, or can I answer?
Yeah, basically you're just stuck on the ground. You see that he basically doesn't seem to be interested in getting up. You're gonna have to spend a round, Mitzi, kind of rallying him because he'll be stuck there for a little bit, or at least not for a little bit, for at least one more round. So the two of you can either continue on without him, or you can try and stay there until he's ready.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
I guess I'll stay there until he's ready, because all this is already running behind, and I don't want to go up to this paladin again.
Okay. So Aldous, you start walking out to the street, and you see that there's a cart that is stopped in the road, and you walk around the cart, and you see a lot of people seem to be looking across the street as Mitzi runs down an alleyway. What do you do?
What's in the cart?
The cart, as you look inside of it, appears to be carrying a whole bunch of spices, and you take a little whiff underneath. They seem like they're really spicy spices that might actually burn to the touch if you touch them.
I go buy some spices.
Well, the cart is not selling them. You could steal from them. It's a cart that's transporting them, kind of like a truck would, and there is a driver on the front. But I'll let you, in the commotion, do either a sleight of hand or a stealth check to steal some if you want to take a handful in your... I'm assuming you're wearing gloves?
No, I'm not wearing gloves.
Well, if you want to grab it, you'll know it's basically. If you want to try grabbing it, go right ahead. Let you do your own thing.
Well, if they look like they're gonna burn to the top, I just wanted. At this point, I've just decided I'm gonna burn the guy's house down. Like, I'm just gonna burn his thing down. Like, that was my preferred option previously, and it will be the option I go with. So I'm gonna lean up against the cart, all chill like, and I'm gonna try and sleight of hand me some spices, I guess. Which I got a 13 total on.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on it. So roll once more.
Ooh, 18.
Cool. So yeah, you basically look around and see that everybody's kind of just watching the rats that have been running across there. No one's even paying attention to you, and you just kind of reach underneath and take your knife and slice open some of this thing and take some of it and put it into a baggie of yours. As you see it waft out, it's a bright red color, and it does have like a burning smell to it, and some of it gets on your fingers and actually does sort of burn your skin a little bit. You definitely feel like this could come in useful, but it's not something that you want to be touching with your bare rat fur or skin.
Okay, all right, that's good. I guess I will now just casually stroll in the direction of Mitzi and company.
Cool. So you wander up, and as you do that, you see that Mitzi and Seaweed are on the ground, essentially. But that'll all come next round. So let's go back up to the top, and the guy is running. So he continues to run down to the end of the alley, and it opens up to a large space. Kind of looks like it's an alcove in behind a bunch of buildings. You know how sometimes alleyways can open up into like a big square, essentially, that is around 4 or 5 or 6 different buildings that are all layered up there. Essentially, you see one really large building along the left-hand side, Sneakage, that has a bunch of, looks like graffiti and markings all over the back wall. And then on the right-hand side, you see 2 less large buildings with an alley between them, and there's an alley to the right as well. You see the guy run up to the first building, and that first building has a bunch of pots out the back of it that look like they're broken, almost like oil pots that would be thrown in the trash. And he basically runs into the doorway and closes the doorway behind him. What are you doing?
I'm running up to the door and knocking on it.
But Sneakage, as you look behind you, you do see the paladin running up behind you fairly quickly, ready to basically, you don't know what he's ready to do, but he's basically running up behind you, still in pursuit. So what do you want to do?
I'm gonna run like over to the door, but like stand like a little bit to the side and call it to the paladin.
As you get closer to the door and you glance upwards, you do see, basically this building is kind of unique. It has 2 shuttered windows on the second floor, and above the building's door, it has an ugly hanging sign that says "The Uneven Night" written on it, unevenly.
Stop! Hey! Paladin guy! Paladin! Cop guy! He's in here! He's in here!
Okay, cool. Make a persuasion check.
15.
Roll with disadvantage, actually. Sorry, I got to give you disadvantage on that one, I think.
Yeah, so 9 on the second one.
Yeah, 9. All right. I just think that you've been running and doing all that stuff. It feels like you might be in on it. He looks at you as he runs out there, and he's also going to yell a command at you. Roll a wisdom saving throw.
13.
He yells at you to get on the ground and drop your weapons, and you don't feel the need to do that at all. And you see him just continue running up to you. Are you going to stop him or do anything while he runs up to the door?
Why are you yelling at me, buddy? I was chasing him. Why are you yelling at me? Sneakage didn't do anything.
He just runs right by you. He doesn't even listen to you. And he basically takes his shield and tries to start bashing at the door. And as he bashes at the door, it looks like this door is a lot firmer than that shitty wooden door that was just in behind the alley, and he's like now trying to break through the door, but he doesn't break through. All right, let's go over to Seaweed and Mitzi. So, Seaweed, you're just starting to be able to move again.
So I've snapped out of it.
Yeah, you're just now that Mitzi's there and starts to kind of like wake you a little bit. You're like, holy shit, I didn't realize. I don't know why I just collapsed on the ground, but yeah.
That dang paladin came through here, and next thing I knew, I was lying in the dirt.
You both see Aldous come wandering up behind you as you're starting to bring yourselves up out of the dirt and the filth.
Aldous, where have you been?
No, a paladin pushed me over.
That's a lie, right? Oh wait, no, it isn't. It is. That's a half truth.
He did. He pushed me over. I'm an old man. What do you expect? I'm very strong. I just like to blow things up. And I believe if y'all are in your agreement, we should just blow that guy's shop up. Seems like a reasonable thing to do at this point.
How exactly does it seem like a reasonable thing to do?
Well, it was one of the things that would get us enough explosives for the mission.
I mean, at this point, can't we just pickpocket somebody for 7 gold?
If you want to be broke on the street for a night.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first night I've been broke. How you think I got into this line of business?
Did either of you two see where the paladin or Sneakage went and where our mark went?
Well, yeah, through this goddamn door right here.
Well, are we going after them or are we leaving him to his own devices?
I guess we gotta help. We need him for this mission, so we gotta go pull him out, I suppose.
At this moment, you all hear a very large boom
Oh no.
coming from the other side of that door down what sounds like the end of the alleyway that they all ran down, and it's a large explosion. You don't know what it is, so I'm going to jump back over to Sneakage, who is the only one around to see this. But as you are waiting downstairs and the paladin appears to be trying to break in to this door, one of the shuttered windows up top opens, and the guy who you were chasing throws a big you're not quite sure what it is, but it looks like a flask of oil of some sort, throws it down into the square and at the paladin, and the paladin gets hit with this thing and covered in oil and fire, and looks like he just takes some damage from that. And so, yeah, now there's a bunch of big explosions, or there's a big explosion and fire right in front of the door where the paladin is, and he basically backs off of that door. And now, what do you want to do, Sneakage?
I want to shoot him with my crossbow.
Yep.
See if I can just get him right in the window.
I will give you... I'll let you make a stealth check to see, but I don't know that he won't see you. I get if he was engaged in melee combat, he's not.
I'm going to take out my light crossbow and try and snipe him. Since he's focused on the paladin, it should be a sneak attack, though, right?
Okay, let me see if he sees you. You know what? It does kind of look like he's pretty wrapped up with the paladin and the explosion. So maybe you can take a quick pot shot at him, and he won't see you.
So I rolled 18 on that sneak attack.
All right, yeah. You take a shot at him, and it's going to hit him.
So 19 damage.
19, eh? Wow. All right. You basically take a shot at him, and it looks like the thing goes right into his chest, and it definitely hurt him. He takes a step back from the opening of the window. You don't know if he's alive or dead or what, but he definitely looks like that was a badass hit on him.
Aha! Sneakage got him.
All right, let's jump over to Mitzi and Aldous and Seaweed. So you guys run down the alleyway, and as the end of the alleyway, you see it open up into a large square that is kind of behind these buildings. And again, on the left-hand side, you see one wall kind of covered and looks like graffiti, but there's two other buildings there on the right, and you see Sneakage, who is aiming his crossbow up into a open window. You don't see anybody in the window right now. It looks like whoever it was that he was shooting at might have not been there anymore. And you see the paladin down on the ground floor, covered in oil and burning a little bit, but looks like he's just basically trying to get, like, put out the fire that's on him. All right, Aldous, Mitzi, what do you guys want to do?
So that guy's on fire?
Yeah,
I guess I'll say Sneakage is there, right?
Sneakage is there, yeah.
I was like, Sneakage, what the hell happened?
Well, we chased the bad man in the house, and then that paladin guy, he started hacking on the door to that house to get the bad man, and then that guy threw like a jar at the paladin guy, and then I shot the bad man in the house with the crossbow.
Sneak it, you idiot. We're bad men. We're bad people. The bad guy is us just tomorrow. So perhaps going close to the police officer is not a good idea.
What are we, some kind of suicide squad?
That's not a bad idea. A suicide squad of blooders? Come on. Yeah, Sneakage. Why are you helping the cops now? That wasn't the plan. You got off track, you dingbat.
Sneakage is always the good guy. Didn't you know that about Sneakage?
Yeah, well, the cops said that they wanted us to burn down this here building because it's violating the fire code. So we gotta burn it down, they said.
Sounds legit.
Do we have anything to burn it with?
So what's going to happen next is, are you guys, I'm assuming, all kind of congregated around Sneakage because you're not saying this in loud voices out for everybody to hear that, oh, I'm so bad, I'm so awful, and like,
No,
we're
we're
gonna
screaming
try and burn
it.
this down. I'm assuming you all ran over to Sneakage.
I am a bad person. I am a criminal. Will someone save me from this life of crime? A nice man, perhaps.
We're saying it in thieves' cant.
The person in the top of the building, you see a ball of some sort fall out of the top floor, out of the window, and it comes sailing down. And when it hits, it doesn't.
And I use deflect missiles.
If it's not aimed at you, actually.
Oh.
So you can't use deflect missiles. But it is coming down, and it lands actually on nobody. But all of you make a... Ooh, what would that be? Make a Constitution saving throw. DC 14.
Wait, wouldn't it be a deck save? Are we jumping out of the way?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Sneakage got a 7.
13.
14.
I got a 9.
So all of you who are less than 14... all of you are blinded by this light that basically just goes like this, and this really, really, really bright light flies out of it. And now none of you can see except Mitzi. Mitzi basically gets her paw up in time to stop the light from hurting her eyes, but all of you are blinded, and that's going to last for you're not sure how long. So, as that happens, I'm going to just keep describing what it sounds like. Mitzi, since you can see, you see by now the paladin is starting to get all the fire off of himself, essentially. He looks over at you, and it basically comes walking up to you and says, like, what are you doing? Whose side are you on?
I think at this point she's kind of running out of excuses, so she sounds a little like, well, I was out for some exercise, and I just ended up here. What's going on?
I told you already. I'm not interested in rats. This is a dangerous area. You should leave. I have a very violent criminal up there. And you know these two? And he points at Seaweed and Sneakage.
Never seen them before in my life.
Roll a deception.
Terrible choice of
no.
lie. We were just talking.
I rolled a 9, but I have a 6 in deception, so that's a 15.
He says, look, we don't have time for this. I already know that all of you are involved in something. Help me take him out, and I'll forget that we ever had any altercations, and I'll let you go. And if you don't, I'll take you all downtown. And then he basically he takes out his shield and starts walking over to the door that is there and starts smashing at it again.
Okay, I admit it.
As he does that,
I admit it was soliciting. We were going to doors that said no soliciting. We were soliciting at those doors.
he looks confusedly at you, but he continues to smash, and you see the door that he's smashing with his shield goes right in basically now, and he basically breaks through it like a tank again. And starts walking inside.
Wait, officer, wait, hang on 1 minute.
Yeah, let's.
I can explain everything.
You can't see him.
I can't see him? He's gone?
No, you're blinded.
Oh, right.
You're blinded.
So you don't know that you.
As a blind old man,
You're just-
I guess.
you're
You
just
wouldn't.
yelling.
But you can still talk.
Yeah.
Mitzi, you see Aldous yelling after nobody, unsure of where the person is.
I want to hear what he says though.
Keep going, Aldous.
Officer, please, I can explain.
He's not here anymore. Aldous.
Okay, well, if you see him, let him know that I wish to speak with him. I'll just
All right,
sit here rubbing my eyes instead.
I'll do that. Listen, this guy seems like he's pretty serious, and from what he said to me at the bar back there, it sounds like this guy he's going after might be some kind of infernal. I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad. Maybe we should actually help him.
Infernal. Well, I know that's I'm gonna do a religion check.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 7.
You seem to recall infernals is something to do with keeping fire lit, and you guys used to do that a lot where you're from.
What? So, are you saying he shovels coal or he chops wood or some such?
That's a furnace, you dingbat.
I'm a dang rat. Thank you very much.
I swear I remember reading something about the infernals, so I'm gonna do a religion check as well. Oh, I rolled an 18, so that's a 20.
You know that the Infernals are an illicit organization. It's some sort of surface issue. There was something to do with blooders involved, and you think it might have been run by a really bad blooder, and they used to burn a bunch of things, but it's not something that is too familiar for you. You just know that it's bad and that anybody who's involved with them is considered very, very bad and very dangerous.
Oh, so it's like a gang.
Okay.
It's like it's an illegal gang that's, I mean, not like there's many legal gangs, but like this is one of the top tier, worst gangs you could be a part of because it involves magic, or it potentially was run by a blooder at one point. You don't really know much about who ran it or when it was run, and you know that they're very secretive in terms of what they do and who they are. That's basically what you know about the Infernals, and that's quite a bit of information for somebody who lives under the.
I thought you meant an
grotto.
infernal, like a demon, like a literal creature from hell.
You've never heard of Infernals from Hell before. Yeah. At this moment, another bomb comes flying out. But
Can I deflect missile?
You can't see, Seaweed, so you can't see.
I use intuition.
But Mitzi, you can see that the guy who is up there looks out, sees that the paladin is in there, but does look down at all of you, angrily glares at the I guess it's 4 of you, but you can tell he really seems to be glaring at mostly you, and then just throws and hurls another bomb at you.
Oh, God.
And it looks like it's going to burst in front of all of you. All right. It basically, all of you feel this eruption of flame around you and take 7 points of burning damage. And now, essentially, I'll give you each a reflex with disadvantage to see if you are on fire.
Fuck.
And sorry, Mitzi, you don't have disadvantage because you saw it coming, so you can just make a regular reflex dexterity check. But the rest of you are blind, so did not see this coming.
Yeah.
Is that a dex save or?
Yeah, dex save.
So
The DC for it is 14.
With disadvantage?
Yep.
Sneakish got a 14.
Oh!
Oh, I got an 11.
Oh my god. I got a, with disadvantage, I got a 21.
Wow. And what'd you get, Altus?
Yeah.
An 11.
All right. So, Mitzi, you see that they all basically get blown backwards, and all of you take 7 damage, right? But, Mitzi, you see Aldous is, like, erupting in fire and covered in it right now.
Oh god.
And Aldous, you feel like you're on fire. And you've felt this before, seeing as how you've messed around with potions and accidentally set yourself on fire before. But the feeling is not pleasant.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to put it out with something. I don't know. What do I have? Is there anything around that I could put it out with, like some tarp or something?
You can, you search around and you don't really see anything that has water in it, for sure. That would be the ideal thing. But you can probably grab some, like, burlap sacks from the trash and try and, like, help pat him down, or try to, like, you've heard that if you pat someone down with that stuff, it can sometimes stop the fire.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna start smacking him with dirty garbage burlap.
And Aldous, you take another 3 fire damage while you're basically trying to put it out.
Great.
So you've got a little bit of singeing, a little bit of scarring, but the fire seems to be out. And after the fire, Aldous, Sneakitch, and Seaweed, your sight starts to come back. It's all white, and basically you start to see the light come back to you, and eventually you can see again. And you can all hear in the above, that coming out of the window, what now sounds like some screams from a guy. It looks like he's basically yelling at the guy, and the guy, and you also hear the command, one more command essentially, and it says, "In Tantalus' name!" And then a big hit.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling revved up like a deuce, so I'm gonna do some damage. And I run inside.
Took me a second.
As you run inside, you look, and the whole place is covered in what look like lanterns and pieces of lanterns and a bunch of oil flasks that essentially are lined up all over the right and left hand side. However, something has been pulled down from the roof, a la like an attic ladder, and it looks like that attic ladder leads to a second floor. And there's also a door that leads out to what you think might be the front of the shop.
Hey, old man.
I'm so tempted to huck a lantern at them. Oh, man.
Why wouldn't you?
Because we can just steal the oil from here, probably, right?
Well, we could, or you could just blow the place up and we could just get the other oil.
Sneakish immediately runs in there and picks up the largest container of oil that there is. This is the one you wanted, right, old man? This is the one, old man?
Do I want that one?
As you look at it, you see that this is just some typical lamp oil, and would probably be good for burning a lamp, but nothing nearly as strong or volatile as you would want for blowing up a warehouse.
You fool! This is just simple lamp oil. Probably best for burning a lamp, not blowing up a warehouse. You idiot.
Not this one, then?
No!
I'm gonna just drop it on the floor and have it break. And go back for another one.
You just smashed a vial of lamp oil on the ground.
Oh no, isn't there fire everywhere?
There's fire
Yeah.
all over.
God damn
He's
it!
still on
idiot.
fire.
I stand by my decision.
Sneakitch!
Okay. If I take any damage.
The lamp oil starts to burn, and basically the fire spreads around the ground, and it's like you just gave it more fuel. But you're not on fire. You guys all moved away from it, thankfully.
Do they have like the Renaissance equivalent of a fire extinguisher? Like, what do they have around here? Because they must have some kind of safety protocol.
You wonder that as you see that there's another big thud, and what looks like the body of the guy who you were chasing gets thrown down the stairs at you. And he lands with a clump on the ground in front of your feet. And you see, as you look up, the paladin crow start walking heavily down the attic stairs towards you.
Hey, we got him!
Is the guy unconscious?
It looks like he's unconscious, yeah.
I'm gonna drag him out and say, "Well, yeah, I'll drag his ass for you," and I start pulling him out of the building.
As you do, get closer to him. Make a little perception check for me.
Yeah. That's a 19.
You know, you don't really see too much on him that seems very interesting, other than the fact that this guy is a human.
Does he have any more of those little bombs?
It doesn't look like there's nothing on him that looks like it's actually bomb worthy or anything like that. He's got some singes across him. He's bleeding out of what looks like a bolt that was fired into him. You also see that this guy just has like a really big welt on his head, like he just got hit heavily in the head around. But what does catch your eye is a necklace that dangles around his neck and appears to have a purple stone that has a slight weird hint to it. It looks like it might be worth something.
Yeah, can I quickly snatch that?
If you want to try while you're trying to drag the guy out to deceptively do that, I'll give you either a sleight of hand or stealth check. I would say it's a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be a 7.
Let's see if this guy sees it. He rolled a 3 for his perception. So
yes!
So you wrap your hand around it and basically like yank it right off of his neck as you're pulling him out. And as you're pulling him out and throw him onto the sand out back behind the store, the paladin steps down from the attic and calls out to you.
He's coming down the stairs.
Yes, he's coming down the stairs.
Oh, okay.
He has.
And I've dragged him out.
Yes.
Okay. Well, tell me what he's saying, but I want to do something real quick.
What do you want to do?
Well, I want to huck a lantern at him.
In the shop?
Is there a lit lantern in the shop?
No, you don't see any lit lanterns. You see a lot of oil. You see a lot of things around that could be lit, but you don't see anything necessarily that is.
Well, can I light something?
As you go back in, thinking to yourself, I'll just light the whole place on fire, the paladin basically steps out in front of you and says, I don't know who you are, but I'm a member of the Gauntlet. Choose what your next actions very carefully. Whose side are you on?
Okay, well, I'm not really on the side, as I was saying. I was just out here doing some soliciting and, minor offense. And then this guy dang called me a dirty name, and I don't take kindly to that kind of language. So I was fixing to beat his ass, and then started getting all crazy and convoluted.
Roll a deception.
That's a 35. Did you believe me?
What did you actually roll?
I got a 15.
He looks at you, and he kind of takes a gander at the rest of you as well, and he says, back away from the subject.
All right. I kind of put my hands up and just kind of, back away.
You see him basically grab onto the guy, flip him over, and start to, like, bind his hands. And as he's doing that, he looks over at all of you and says, I don't know why you were all running. When a member of the Gauntlet calls at you, you should just stop. I know rats aren't used to this sort of surface talk, but your friend over here did help me in apprehending the suspect. He was bleeding out as I went upstairs and found him, so I'll thank you for that, and for that, I won't ask how he broke his chains. And he looks over at Mitzi. I don't ever want to see any of you nearby here again. Have you anything left to say for yourselves?
Well, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I just kind of panicked in the heat of the moment, and I wasn't quite sure who was running behind me. I got spooked there, but I do sincerely apologize, and I'm going to keep my nose clean. That's sure as shit.
What's your name?
Well, it's Coral.
Coral? You?
Yeah.
And he goes around to each of you asking for your names.
Samantha.
Was that your name before?
It's always been my name. You can call me whatever you want, sweetie.
He looks over at Sneakage.
My name's Seaweed.
God
name's
damn
Seaweed.
it!
Seaweed's my name.
And you? Old man?
He doesn't answer. He doesn't think of himself as old.
Oh, whoops, I was on mute. Derek. What's so funny?
Just an old man named Derek.
Derek's grow old, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Hashtag Derek's grow old. Broderick.
Hashtag not all Derek.
Broderick. He looks at you as like, my name is Broderick Vindeman. You'll remember that. And I don't ever want to see any of you around here on the surface again. And if you ever come back to the uneven night, we will have problems.
Okay.
And he hauls off. He starts to drag the guy roughly by his ankles down the alleyway as he sheathes his sword on his back.
I say under my breath as he leaves, Brody Vinkermint. Huh. What a fellow.
As the paladin basically drags him away, you all look around and see that there's some fire that's basically finishing up. The entrance to the actual shop is still open, and there's lots and lots of oil in there. And you also see that there's actually, if you guys want to roll a perception check for me while you're out here and we're not in combat, maybe you'll see something else.
15, baby.
Hey, nat 20.
You don't crit on skill checks, though.
Can anyone beat a 20?
That's a 22.
Is your total sneakage 20 or is it?
No, it's a nat 20. My total is 26.
So sneakage, you see that the graffiti across
Is it a mutard?
the way, you recognize this. It looks like it's in bright yellow.
Yes!
And there is a semblance of an artist that you know is a Rotkin known as Mutard. And basically this one seems very very different from many of the other Mutards you've heard of, but you've never really seen. This is like the first one. Actually, you may have, of all of you, none of you have seen a Mutard before, but Sneakage has seen Mutard, so he recognizes this as Mutard's style. And this one is, you see, it's actually a big hand, or essentially a fist, that's been torn apart down the middle. And on one side is two humans holding up like a peace sign. And they're kind of holding up the two fingers as like a peace sign almost. And then the other side is a bunch of, is like a gnoll, a rat, and a Vacherin, and a Kitsune. And they're all like feasting away on the hand.
Is there any words on it?
No.
Well, how am I supposed to interpret what that means without a caption like, and that's on totalitarian government?
Well, you say that out loud and question the group.
I don't. We're not even
If you
seeing
wanna
it,
make an
right?
intelligence
We're not
check.
even seeing it.
No. You all see it, but Sneakage points this out that it's a Mutard.
This mutard painting makes Sneakage hungry.
Yeah, maybe we could get some chicken hands down at one of these. I'm mighty hungry at one of these taverns. Y'all want some chicken hands?
Sneakage doesn't remember why we came in this shop. Why did we come in this shop?
Well, we were gonna burn it down, but I think it'd be mighty suspicious now if we did that. Like, you know, I think we'd be the prime suspects. if anything happened to this fine shop.
Well, can we find what we need in here? All this, what was it that you were looking for?
Liquid that blows things up, preferably. Let's take a look.
Looks like we're kind of in the right place for that, considering all the ashes I'm surrounded by.
Yeah, let's hope they don't do a very rigorous inventory, and maybe they'll not notice anything's missing.
Aldous, you know the type of material you're looking for is something that can be lightly carried but have a high impact in terms of explosive, which is not just typical oil. It's a special type of oil, which is why you were going to the other person's place initially, because you know that he has it. But this guy, if you remember, did say he had that type of oil to explode things. If you he did say if you let him out, he'd be able to give you any type of oil that could go boom. Yeah, so you think maybe it's worth taking a look.
Okay. Well, let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
So what's it look like?
As you wander into the broken door, you see that this clearly is like a storeroom for what seems to be a lot of oil and lanterns and lantern accessories, but it's not a storefront. This clearly is sort of like the back area. You do see the attic stairs that come down almost to the just center left in the room, and it seems to go up to a second level. And then there's a doorway out to what you think might be the front of the shop.
Sneakage goes to the front of the shop.
As you look through and you go to the door and you look through the front of the shop, you can see that this also seems to have a large amount, has a counter out front with a bunch of lanterns on display that appear to be very, very nice. And they also have a lot of
barrels.
This looks like a storefront for oil. Barrels, yes, that's what I was trying to think of. Like a barrel. There's a number of. They go from all the way from from little vials of oil all the way up to like barrels of oil that you could potentially buy. But there's also a large amount of lanterns that are on display that look like they're of varying quality, from nice to pretty.
Well, Aldous, you're the expert. Tell us what we need out of here.
Would I know, like, just by looking at it, if some were really explosive or high quality or not? Like, how would I be able to tell the difference?
Roll a intelligence check for this area.
20. 17 plus 3.
You know, essentially anything that you would want to buy or would not be kept in the front of a shop like this. And this is what you're looking for, is like the back under the shop, or in like the secret area that, like, if this guy has a substance that you want to actually use for this, it's not going to be in the front of the shop on display ready to be bought by a common person.
Well, folks, we're gonna need to look for his secret stash. If he does have something, it'll be hidden.
Why don't we check that mysterious looking attic area he's got?
I like the way you think, Mitzi.
Well, thanks. So let's go. So we're gonna go to the attic.
Sure. Snake Itch, can you just make a perception check for inside the room out front for me?
Yeah. I'm also going to stay in the front of the shop rather than go to the back. Yeah, looking for like a cash box or something.
That's what I thought you were looking for, so that's why I thought I'd give you a little...
Nat 1.
You accidentally knock over some oil. It doesn't light or anything, but it definitely spills and makes a big mess, and you can't find any gold or money or anything around here, essentially. You actually find a bunch of papers, and you spilled the oil all over it, so now you can't even read the papers. The only thing that you got off the paper was a name, and it looked like the top of it was a name that you read as Franz Lobotomus.
What a name.
Sneakage thinks that's a silly name.
So you guys go up to the attic, and as you're stumbling up to the attic, as you see at the top of the stairs a number of rafters above it. So this has like a peaked roof with some rafters. It definitely seems like it's not very tall, but for you guys who are all very short, this seems pretty comfortable to walk around up there, but would have been a normal human in that paladin would have probably had to have like duck a little bit to be in this area. You see a bench with a number of broken oil lanterns. There's a few oil tanks up there as well. It appears to be a storage area. But what's interesting is you do see a bookcase that has a lot of books off to the right-hand side. And can you all make a perception check for me on this area?
15.
18.
14.
14.
So, Aldous, you look around the room and you narrow your old eyes a little bit to stare, and you start to realize that this room doesn't seem as big as the bottom of the shop, and that there's probably an area that is up here that you can't see. But maybe there's a way to get into it. You see that the bookcase seems to be a little bit too close, so maybe it's somewhere over that way.
I don't like the look of that bookcase. It looks too booky. Also, he sells oil. Why would he have a bookcase? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, as you look at all the books and you start to inspect it a little closer, you do see a couple of books that you recognize. There's The History and Building of the Block by Rubric Gollentail. You see a book by Zane Magnetti, and it's called Boom Boom, Explosives and Other Uses for Oils. There's a number of books that seem to be just on like the history of oil making, the crafting of oils, lighting my way, the history of lamps, things like that.
I want to look for something that isn't oil-based. Can I look and see if there's a book that doesn't fit in?
Yeah, the only one that doesn't seem to be oil-based is this History and Building of the Block by Rubric Gollentail.
Ooh, I go and try and grab that book.
As you grab that book, it's interesting because as you do, you hear a little click, and this bookcase now seems to be a little bit like movable. And you actually, with a little bit of effort, after you move the bookcase itself can swing, and it opens up into what looks like a secret room.
Ooh,
Hey, nice going, Unca.
thank you. I'm very perceptive.
As you walk into the room,
What?
Maybe that wasn't iconic enough.
No, I got it. That was good.
There we go. That's what I meant to do.
okay. So you wander in there with like this is this nice new secret room. You see actually along the wall there's a number of canisters of varying color, but for you 3 canisters on the middle of the shelf really stand out to you, because one has this bright pink Pepto-Bismol-y color that you recognize from the other shop. One is kind of blue with purple swirls in it, and you know swirls generally means volatile. And also one that has a greenish hue to it, but yellow sandy bits almost filtering through it and seems to be movable. You recognize all 3 of these could potentially be explosive and volatile. You also see there is a medium-sized lockbox safe on the floor of this room. You can look at these 3 different vials and make an intelligence check to guess which one would be the best for your job.
12.
So you look at it and you're like, that pink one, you know what it is. And the problem with the pink stuff was that you needed a lot of it. And the vial this guy has doesn't look like there's nearly enough. You look at the other one, though, and the blue one and with like the purpley hue in it, that kind of resembles what you had before at the other place. And you think maybe that would actually explode pretty well. And the green one with the yellow, you don't know what that does. You're clueless on that. But you get the sense that the biggest boom that you know about will be the purple and blue one.
Okay. I grab the purple and blue one, and I go to the pink one and I kick it over. We're getting out of town, folks.
Oh no.
Hey.
Are you gonna leave the lockbox there?
Oh, there's a lockbox?
Yeah, I said there's a lockbox on the ground.
I suppose I'll pick that up too.
You just kick it over, though, so there's just oil spilled and nothing else happens. Right?
Yeah, basically the oil doesn't light or anything, but it does spill over onto the ground and just seems to like peel and congeal in the cracks of the wood underneath. But it hasn't been lit yet, so there's... You find the lockbox pretty heavy for you to haul. In fact, as an old man, you don't think you should really be carrying this.
Somebody come take this lockbox.
All right. Hey, good look in here. Is this what, a secret? Is this like an oil fella secret? Y'all keep your best oils hidden behind a bookshelf?
It's a standard practice, I suppose. Bookshelf, a fake bathtub,
Fake bathtub.
a hole in the floorboard.
That's pretty tricky. Gotta hand it to you. I grabbed the lockbox.
You feel the weight on this. It's pretty hefty, and it has like a large lock on the outside of it. And yeah, that's basically. But you can haul it. You're pretty strong for a rockin', so.
Hey, I think if we found what we need, we should. What? Did we find what we need? All this in terms of oil.
I suppose. I think this stuff will work. I really can't be sure, though.
Yeah, can we take a backup? Something else.
Yeah, I mean, if we get Sneakage to go over there and throw a match in that bookcase room, we'll have all the exploding material we can shake a tail at.
I don't know. I think that's, I think we're going to be on a wanted list if we do that.
Don't be so boring.
Aldous, that paladin
I mean,
has seen our faces. He knows we were here. He would know it was us.
He would have a suspicion it was us.
unlike you, I got more than a couple weeks left to live, so I don't really want to spend those weeks in prison, you understand?
Oh, ha, ha.
Alright, well, I think if we've got everything that we can from this place, we should split.
Are you going to leave the other canister?
The mystery one?
Yeah, the one that had green and yellow. Are you going to leave it there?
Oh, yeah, I have no need for it. I don't know what it is.
It's just something Chris probably spent like 4
Could be
hours
Ebola,
on.
for all you know. Could be anthrax.
No biggie. It's an entire adventure in itself, but whatever. Didn't spend any time on. No, it's not. Actually, I could have also just have made that up to make it
The
a choice. Who
mysteries
knows?
of the Dungeon Master.
Well,
It's like the potions in the first Harry Potter book.
This is the fickleness of being a dungeon master.
Alright, so I guess we're leaving? We're blowing this popsicle stand?
Yeah, whatever you guys are doing.
Now Sneakitch is taking like 10 lanterns. They're gonna hang from his
Oh,
arms
no.
and wiggle around as he walks out the
What
store.
was
Sneakage, go throw a lantern over in that bookcase and
No!
run out real quick.
Don't listen to him, Sneakitch. He's trying to get you into more trouble than we already are in.
Sneakage, do not do that.
Sneakage is taking all the lanterns. You never know when you might need a lantern.
What do you guys want to go back out to the back alley? I'm guessing.
Well, what was Aldous' actual argument for why we should burn the place down?
because if we burn the place down, we go to the other potions place, and he'll give us all the explosives that we need for free.
But in terms of the paladin seeing our faces.
So, we gave fake names, and we're all rats who he's not very familiar with. Plus,
Well,
he doesn't.
Sneakage gave a
they
real
left. These are terrible cops. They just took the owner of the shop with a smashed down door, hauled him away, and left an open explosives shop there for the public in a bad part of where there's graffiti on the walls. Like, these cops should be written up for poor being poor police work.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's burn it down. I'll just say you said all that.
Maybe
in
Mitzi can
character.
convince the other guy that we got the shop owner arrested.
Roll an intelligence check to know about the gauntlet.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
I got a 10.
Everybody, I rolled a 1,
Mitzi, you don't know anything. You know about the
rolled
infernals, but
one.
you've never heard of the gauntlet.
which is weird.
I also rolled a 1.
All right, Sneakage, you don't know what the gauntlet is either.
Sneakage thinks it's a sandwich.
Is that some kind of fancy, fashion glove?
I got a 13.
10.
So, Seaweed, you know that the Gauntlet essentially is like a higher level police that tends to only really associate themselves with dealing with crime that is either magic related or like the bigger crimes in the area, that kind of stuff. You know, this guy, if he was tangling with the Gauntlet, must have been a pretty bad dude or mixed up in something that was really like a heavy deal. And like you guys were small fish and the guy didn't seem to care.
You know, you convinced me all this. I do regret that Sneakage did use my name when we talked to the the police fella. But
How
it's
many
not.
seaweeds are there? There must be a few seaweeds.
You know, I seaweeds, I eat them. Yeah, let's burn it down.
Alright, Sneakage. I think this is a job for you.
But let's wait till we get out of the building before we go doing that. So yeah, I'm gonna head for the door.
How are you going to do this, Aldous?
I'm not gonna do a damn thing. I'm gonna let Sneakage run in and maybe blow himself up.
Yeah.
I frankly don't care about that dumb little rat that keeps mixing everything up.
Yeah,
I would just like to make it known for the record that I do not like this idea.
give Sneakage a series of really complicated instructions to follow.
Sneakage, go play with a match in that back room over there. We're gonna run far away and play hide and seek, and when your match box runs out of matches and you clean up the goo on the ground there with fire, you come find us. It's a fun game we can play. Called Hide and Sneakage.
Sneakage likes this game. We should play more often. I like this idea.
Oh.
There's a donut shop across the street. We could go there after.
Are we all out of the building at this point?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm gonna grab one of the lanterns from Sneakage. Gonna light it. And I'll just huck it through the door, I guess.
All right. Well, in this sort of supposed frustration over the length of time that this is taking for people to make a decision, and Sneakage's strange looking for a donut shop, you just decide to grab a lantern and light it and throw it through the doorway. As you do that, you see that the lantern explodes into some fire, and the fire starts to catch in the building and spread.
I say, all right, folks, let's hustle out of here.
Let's.
Which way are you going? Where are you heading?
Back through the alleys we came.
Yeah, you can head back towards the red tankard area through the alleyways. As you head back, though, you do start to see smoke rise up from the building that you were just at.
Just going as fast as I can in the opposite direction.
Yeah, let's head back to the shop and get our free explosives from the other guy.
Cool. So as you start to head back down towards the Beast Quarter, just as you start to pass over into that area on your way back to Ye Olde Demon, you all hear a couple of really large booms that goes boom, and then almost immediately after that, another boom like that. And as you look back over the sky, you do see a large amount of black clouded smoke is coming out, but you also see there's a strange, almost putridy green smoke that's coming out of that area now as well.
Well, that's not good, but it is intended so. It must be bad. And you know how I like being bad. Okay, let's go get our free explosive oil.
Thus concludes episode 4 of You Rolled a 1, the Rotkin Heist. Hit subscribe and tune in to episode 5 where night falls and the heist begins. Follow us on Instagram at You Rolled a 1. Check out our sponsor for this episode, onlycrits.com. Onlycrits.com. This is a local Vancouver dice company that makes awesome dice of all shapes, colors, and types. I love them, and they ship anywhere. You can use our promo code EPIC to receive 10% off at the checkout. And yes, we get a little kickback for that, and it all goes to help keep this podcast running. Thank you so much for your support. Tune in next time for our next episode. I'm Professor Epic, reminding you don't live your life as an NPC. Ta-ta. What's your name?
Well, it's Coral.
Coral? You?
Yeah.
And he goes around to each of you asking for your names.
Samantha.
Was that your name before?
It's always been my name. You can call me whatever you want, sweetie.
He looks over at Sneakage.
My name's Seaweed.
God
name's
damn
Seaweed.
it!
Seaweed's my name.
And you? Old man?
He doesn't answer. He doesn't think of himself as old.
Oh, whoops, I was on mute.
Derek.